Well, here's 342 AC. I thought I'd start the day by disassembly. I always like to do the dissection early, certainly before lunch. Just kidding. In general, it's okay. As you can see, there is a ton of rust on the railings, the linkage, and the engine itself is just filthy. There's a dent I just now found. Look at that dent. That is a drop, a sign that this thing had hit the floor, had some damage. I mean, a dent is not damage, but it's hit. Okay. The other thing that's worrisome is the drawbar is missing. As you can see, there's a bar across here and then a link to the tender, and that's missing. As I look on the tender, there's the link. Okay, so we have the link, I just don't have the drawbar. Okay. The other thing I found was, interestingly enough, 651, which is a clear date stamp. But the odd thing is, that is the very first date stamp I've seen in red, and it's quite legible. So I'm guessing that's a new hire. But at any rate, side clips are in good shape. I didn't pull the smoke out or apart. It looks intact. I'm going to try it first and just see if I can restore it, make it work without doing anything. I hate to cut these wires. They appear to be original. I don't understand. We have the red ink and the red wire, and I'm wondering if that means something. At first I thought this was replacement wire, but it's clearly not. It's the original wire. And the same with the light, red on the light. So I'm wondering if there was something about this red ink and red wire that means something about the time or who assembled it or what it was for. So I'm going to go look this up and see what that means. But the chassis itself, I will show you in a comparison, is very freewheeling. You can see I can just roll it with one thumb, no fighting. I mean, it doesn't spin, but it does roll, so easily clean up. One thing to note is that there is an offset. If you look at this wheel, if I can get this positioned properly, you see that gear is way over on one side. That's not right. It should be in the center, more like that. If it was in the center more like that, then you have this huge gap on this gear over here, and that's not right. The gap should be about the size of a dime. But when I look at the hub, I find that the axle stem is actually flush with the wheel. When I look at this wheel and roll it over a little bit, you can see it's a little depressed. That hub is a little depressed. So the challenge I have now is to tighten this up by pressing this wheel in just a tad more, but at the same time I'm going to have to press that gear over so it's more centered. So what I'm going to have to do is set it up like this with that gap, if I can get it to work for me. Anyway, I'm going to put some, I'll point to this. I'm going to put some drill bits is what I use. I'll put drill bits in this gap over here to maintain that gap, and I'll press this shaft from this wheel flush to the wheel. I'll take the linkage off. I'll just hold onto the hub and press the shaft, trying to press the shaft through this gear and this wheel at the same time. See if I can't get it. I may have to do one at a time, but in any case, this will have to get straightened out. Then I'll have to check the side rail. This one looks like it's got some bend to it too. I'm not sure if that's the wheel offset over time or what, but it does roll pretty good shape. The field looks in good shape. It's gunky. Everything here is gunky, which is what you expect, but the wiring's not fried black, cable's not fried black. It's a good thing. No homeowner soldering that I can see on this unit, which I thought initially there were. When I saw the red wire, I thought, oh cripe, somebody's gotten in here. Oddly enough, there were no springs to push the brushes in. The springs were just gone. One of these little clippy things was very, very loose, so they must have been at one time taken apart. But when I get to the brushes themselves, one thing you'll note is that they are gummy. If I can get a good focus on it. Maybe I can't. I don't know. Anyway, they are yucky, and I had to bang them out damn near. I had to really touch them and get them to slide out. So I'm thinking that they got gummed up. The springs probably got hot and overheated and wore out, and so then it just went downhill from there. I did get the stack out, really corroded, you can see. but I did get it out. And oddly enough, this one is brass. This is a brass stack, and the chimney itself is not painted white. On yours, or on the 343, let's say, it's painted white, and the stack is a clear red plastic. And what that does, when the headlight is on, that gives a red glow out the stack, so it looks like there's a real fire going on down there, which is kind of exciting. You'll see on this one it's painted white as well, and on this one over here it's painted white. This one over here is painted white. So painted white is a new thing they started doing at some point. 51, so you got a 49 290 and a 51 342. You know, it's a dilemma. I mean, those are probably some of the earlier ones, and this dent here bothers me, but neither here nor there. I probably would not try to straighten it out. Most of the time you try to straighten it out and they crack off. So but this one is rusty and gunky, but it's complete. It's not shot, it's not boogered with. It's promising. The armature is gunky, and notice it has a purple tint to it, which is a little unique. I don't know if that's a weirdness too. This shaft, the gear shaft is nice, not too bad. The flat plates look clean. It's like this might have been touched at one time. Oh, there's a spongy thing that goes in that hole in the middle, and it's missing, and that's to keep a little bit of oil in here. On the oil side, only one shim comes off, right? Only one shim. The 290 had 3 shims, so it must have had some work done somehow, or somebody. At any rate, this railing here is for link coupler only, and the tender, the tender was converted from link to knuckle, and this is the older 51. It's a mixed bag. I'm going to move on to the tender. Here's my note page if you want to just gander at that. You can read my notes on what I see. The circles indicate missing parts, and the arrows indicate a note on the repairs to be careful. That's sort of my code. All right, more later.